So if you remember from earlier, Jack was writing about those poems where the words made the shape of the thing the poem is about. And then he did this one about his dog Sky right down here. And this is what we're doing today. It's called shape poetry or concrete poetry. It contributes to the meaning. His positive ideas start out very wide, and then they become narrow as they become negative, and then they become wider as he goes into the positives. And if you look at this kind of sideways, you tip your head, you can see it looks like wings. So let's go ahead and read this together. Lord, who creates man in wealth and store, though foolishly lost the same, decaying more and more, till he became most poor. With thee, O let me rise, as larks, harmoniously, and sing this day thy victories, then shall the fall further the flight in me. My tender age in sorrow did begin, and still with sicknesses and shame, though did so punish sin, that I became most thin. With thee, let me combine, and feel this day thy victory. For if I imp my wing on thine, affliction shall advance the flight. And so again, going back to the topic of Easter and Easter Sunday, he's talking about sinful man, and you can see it gets narrow, and then Christ's victory over death, and it starts to get wider. So the shape of the poem does matter. You'll notice too, he's got some alliteration in here, he has some rhyming. You don't have to have those things in your poems, but you can still use those same craft choices that we've been talking about. Another very famous example comes from Alice in Wonderland. And in this part, you can see that we have what looks like a mouse's tail. And in this, the mouse is explaining to Alice why he hates dogs, and the dog's name is Fury. And so he says that he has a very sad tale to share, and he means a sad story. But she mistakes that, and she thinks tail, T-A-I-L, as in a mouse's tail. So she sees what he's saying in the shape of a mouse's tail. So let's go ahead and read this. Fury said to a mouse that he met in a house, let us both go to the law. I will prosecute you. Come, I'll take no denial. We must have a trial, for really this morning I've nothing to do. Said the mouse to the curse, such a trial, dear sir. With no jury or judge, we'll be wasting our breath. I'll be judge, I'll be jury, said cunning old Fury. I'll try the whole cause and condemn you to death. So definitely a sad tale. You can see they're playing on the words tail, T-A-L, and T-A-I-L to create this tail. And we have this one, which is kind of funny. It's called silencio, and it has the same word, silence, repeated over and over. And you can see there's a blank right in the middle. He has silence in the middle of his poem about silence. And you can do a lot of different things. This is one about airplanes, and you can see the airplane taking off. A click to roar, a sputter, a whoosh, a flick to soar, a shudder, a push. The nose held high, the wings steady. The plane is ready to touch the sky. And you can see we've got some onomatopoeia in there too. Again, those craft choices that accent a poem. I love this one about coffee in the shape of a coffee cup. And then we have this one about a fox in the shape of a fox. So there are a lot of different things you can do. And you could choose to draw this, write it out, take a picture of it. You could choose to use a couple different programs that I'll show you. You could choose to use whatever it is you have in Word or Google Docs to put this together. It's up to you. But you get to choose the shape of your poem and the topic of your poem. So Word Mover is a fun way to play around with poetry. So if you've found your poem, you've created it, and now you'd like to turn it into a shape, but you're having trouble maybe because of the programs that you have, this is a fun way to do that. This is almost like magnetic poetry. So you can start a new poem with your own words, add a word, but you can also add a phrase. And remembering the plain poem from our website. So I can take this though, and I can shift it, and I can move it, and I can change the fonts, and I can change the colors. I can bold it. I can change the font there. I can change the color. There's a lot that I can play around with. And then I could maybe add another phrase. Right now. But I can take this and I can turn it and I can put it wherever I would like. So this is one way that you can build that shape poem. So when you're finished with it though, you can send it as an email. Send it to yourself first as an email just to make sure that it's gone through, and then send it to me. So that's one way to end that. You could save it as a PDF and then attach it and send it to me that way as well. And this poetry mosaic is another fun way to play around with shapes, because you can put your text up here and then you can draw it into the shape that you would like. So let's say I want to add onomatopoeia in here, and then maybe I want the rest of my poem to be in the shape of an umbrella, so I'll come back and I'll change that. Right, so now those are my new words, and I want to play around a little bit with the size. So I'm going to go faster in through here, and you can see that made the words larger. And I can shape this however I would like. And I think I can play around with colors and things like that. My computer is not super compatible with this program, so I don't know how you would save it and send it on. Maybe even just taking a screenshot or something along those lines if you wanted to use this program.